What would you say are your like top two or three takeaways for building credit? Are there any education bombs here that you can drop at that 5-year-old level, just in case someone's listening who's like, I don't really know that myself. I wish he would maybe give me some insights and some help. What would be a couple takeaways that come to mind?
I think always pay your bills, right? We know that, like, pay your bills. I would say if you like generally you know yourself, like if you're honest, you know if you are a spender or a saver, right? If you are a spender, I would say you probably don't need credit cards. You probably want to go to Dave Ramsey way, right? So I did Financial Peace University, and I wouldn't agree with everything with Dave Ramsey because Dave Ramsey would tell you cut all your credit cards. I would say that if you are a spender and you are in a huge amount of debt, you probably should cut all your credit cards, right? That's probably a good spot for you until you can get the wherewithal to have good habits regarding spending. But um, most of credit woe is because we are um, our eyes. You know, my mom used to always tell me like your eyes are bigger than your stomach, right?
Hmm.
Um, and so you go into the food line, you know, maybe the buffet, and you get this huge mound of stuff, and you eat like a quarter of it. And in the same capacity with our finances, you know, we live in a capitalistic society that is intended to for you to buy stuff. And it used to be that was intended for you to buy stuff in store. Now it's intended for you to buy stuff from your couch, which puts us in a very perilous situation
Hmm.
because we are just buying stuff like all the time. So I would say pay your bills, live within your means, right? Um, so you know, for multifamily renters, I'm from California. I live in California. And there was a point in time where my rent was more than half of my take home, right? Gross. That meant that I needed to be very meager on what I bought because as I budgeted, like half of my take home was just out no matter what because of rent. So I had very little things that I could do. So I would say, pay your bills, um, uh, don't spend more than you make, and budget. Like, do some kind of
Mm.
budget. There's a lot of free budgets out there that will help you do too a little bit better, right? Because I think that, like, my suspicion is that most people just um, like don't know where their money goes. So they're like, dang, why don't I have any money this month? Like, I just got paid. And they're just so confused by it. I remember like specifically a couple years ago, I was like, dude, why don't I have any money? And I went through and I did all the math and I was like, I'm spending like 800 bucks going out every month. Like,
Mm.
and I'm like, this is like not that many kids. Like now I got a lot of kids, so that might be normal. But like I had like one or two kids, and I just wanted to go out. And so I think that once you get a clear picture, and I think that this is how I think about credit, right? So if you're in multifamily, you know, all the way that credit plays a role for you is that as a landlord, you want a clear picture of who you're doing business with. So if I have someone as a landlord come and sleep in my room, I just want to know what their credit's like. So I have a good idea of like, are they going to pay me or not? Not only that, I want to know if they just robbed the liquor store, I would just like to know that, right? You want a good picture of who you're dealing with as they're coming into your house. And for you as a person dealing with credit or your tenants dealing with credit, you want like we need to have a good idea of our finances. Because if we don't understand like where money is going, meaning that every year or every month my money has a home, right? It has to go to this person, has to go to this person, and every dollar has a place. And so I make sure I assign that. Now that's the hard part, right? So the reason why people stink with their finances is because handling your finances are is complicated. It changes on a monthly basis, and we want very convenient automated solutions. Now there are some out there, right, that will go and automate it for you. And I would so say go look at them. Like go look at some of those automated sources. Experian has one. A lot of people use our free one. Mint has one. There's a couple out there where it'll go and say, okay, you'll You log into your account, and then it'll say, "This is your expenses. This is your take home pay. Guess what? You're spending way too much money. You need to stop spending money." And they'll tell you that, right? But I would say have some plan in place. My suspicion is that many of us just have no plan, and sometimes that's okay because you're making enough money. Um, but I think sometimes something happens and it throws a wrench in our plans, and now we are a little bit put in a rock in a hard place.
Yeah.
So I would say, spend less, um, pay your bills, have some kind of money management like plan and strategy in place. Budget. If you got to go old school Excel, go Excel. Um, but I would actually recommend that like some kind of like YNAB, Mint, Experian offer like is better because what it's going to do is it's going to take your transactions and go put them somewhere for you online. And Excel is hard because it's static. So you're going to say, "Oh, I spent $7 at Aldi, $7 at Wegmans, or whatever it is," and it's going to be difficult to actually um, it's going to be difficult for you to actually manually put it in there. You're going to want that to be automated. So for us, like, we talk about all the AI. We want to use AI and automation as much as possible, so we don't have to be stuck in doing the rudimentary stuff. But you also need to understand that AI will never replace humans, in my opinion, because there's unique things that only we can do. But let's use it as much as possible. If it can make your life easier and more, convenient, let's use it. And so that would be my top three. I think that, um, and also like lastly, just realize you're in a capitalistic society that um is trying to figure out how I can get your money. Right. At the end of the
Absolutely.
day, like there's a bunch of businesses that are either saying, "Hey, how can I get your money or your time?" Right? And so know that. And I think we do know that. I just think that we kind of forget. So we're like, "Oh, I really want a burger." Well, you probably just got primed to that burger. Like this is marketing that play.
Hmm.
So maybe you want that burger, but maybe it was really good marketing, copy there as well. But that's probably a little too much tangential. But that's what I would kind of say for multifamily, how I would kind of handle credit. And I think that credit is going to be um, much more of a player in the next kind of couple years because I'm hearing big PMSs start having more conversations about credit and how because they interface with tenants so often and they're starting to
Yeah.
ask for it. I imagine it's going to start becoming more of a big thing in multifamily.